What's up, y'all? It's Josh here from Inside Wrestling Truth. Back here today. The thing going on YouTube today is the same shit that's been going on for the past few weeks, and it is all about John Cena. People hating, people loving. The last John Cena video that I made, well, that is my last one. I'm done talking about him. I'm not a fan of Cena. I can do with him, or I can do without him. Personally, when he comes on Raw, I usually leave the room. I don't. He's not somebody that I really enjoy watching, but at the same time, like, it's not going to change my life if I come in and he's on TV. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm done talking about John Cena. You're always going to have the guys that hate him, and you're going to have the guys that love him. Thing that sucks for the guys that hate him is, what you have to understand is, John Cena don't write the storylines. That's what he's told to do. You know what I'm saying? And for the guys that love him, you're always going to have to deal with the guys that hate him. It's almost like a fucking game, but it's quite ridiculous, I think. But today's video, I want to talk about some guys that I thought were very underrated in the WWE. And I felt like we never really get to hear about them, and I just want to talk about some guys that you never get to hear about anymore. First guy that I wanted to talk about was Ahmed Johnson. I remember as a kid, man, teenager, Ahmed Johnson was the shit, man. I mean, he was awesome. I remember at I think it was King of the Ring, maybe 96. Yeah, King of the Ring 96. He was the first black Intercontinental Champion after beating Goldust. Dude had mad talent. I mean, he was awesome. He could do anything in the ring. He was a beast, man. And I really miss, nobody ever talks about Ahmed Johnson. Never hear anything about him, never see nothing from him. But he was one of the guys that I wanted to put on this video, and talk about. I can remember a lot from Ahmed Johnson. He had a very quick impact when he was in the WWF. I remember him slamming Yokozuna. Of course, like I said, becoming the first black Intercontinental Champion. His feuds with Goldust were pretty good. Then I remember him joining the Nation. I was really good angle at the time. They were all when he joined the Nation, they turned all black. It was Crush wasn't in it no more, and Wolfie D and Jamie Dundee weren't in it no more. It was Ahmed and Farouk, D'Lo Brown, and Kama, Godfather, whatever you call him. And then just out of nowhere, he disappeared from the WWF. I remember him showing up in WCW and teaming up with Stevie Ray to form Harlem Heat 2000. But, he really didn't have an impact there like he had in the WWF. And, yeah, Ahmed Johnson, man. Whatever happened to him, I really enjoyed watching Ahmed Johnson work, and I think Ahmed Johnson definitely should have been more than what he was in this business. Some other guys I like to talk about. Rick Martel, the model. He was AWA champion. But before he ever wrestled in the AWA, he wrestled in the WWF. If you don't know that. Then he come back to the WWF. He was tag champ, Intercontinental champion. I really always enjoyed Rick Martel. His feuds with Jake the Snake and Tatanka were pretty good. Who else? He had one with Shawn Michaels. Tito Santana, of course. But Rick Martel is another guy. He had a really good, successful career. But he is a guy that I think should have actually had the... I think he should have been more than what he was in this business. Rick Martel is another guy on my list. And he's also a guy that we never hear anything about. We never see. He's a guy that should definitely be in the WWE Hall of Fame. For younger fans that don't know who Rick Martel is, or the model, some of y'all may remember, go look him up. Go watch some of his old matches. I mean, he can work. He was a hell of a worker. And I read in a book, Bret Hart's book, that Rick Martel was only one of the only guys that never did steroids. So I think that's pretty cool. Another guy that nobody ever talks about, and I think should have been more in this business than what he was, but I understand that his size may have kept him down at that time, is Dean Malenko. I have a lot of respect for Malenko. You know, Malenko comes from a wrestling family. Malenko could go, man. He was a hell of a fucking wrestler. You know, he was... I know he held the U.S. title, the Cruiserweight. I know he held the television and ECW, and the tag in ECW. And I can't really remember if he held any titles in the WWE. I know his career was short in the WWE, which is sad, because I think if he would have went to the WWE, or before he went to WCW, he would have probably been a major star, because he could work, man. And he's another guy. Every once in a while, we might get to see him on like a WWE DVD talking, but you know, nobody ever talks about him. He was in the Horsemen, and he always got overshadowed. I think Benoit, you know, but Malenko was a hell of a guy, and he's a guy that we never hear anything about. That's what this video was about, guys that we never hear nothing about. And I had to put Dean Malenko on here. I had a video not that long ago of my most underrated guys, and Malenko was on that list as well. But I just got high regards and a lot of respect for Dean Malenko. And then the last guy on my list, people may think I'm stupid, but I sit back and watch his tapes and shit of him, DVDs, and Jacques Rougeau, the Mountie. Now, I really never realized how good of a wrestler he was. The Rougeau brothers were pretty damn good. And then, you know, his brother had a career-ending injury, and he became, well, first off, before we go to the Mountie, the Rougeau brothers were a really good tag team, and they come from a wrestling family. Everybody knows the story where he knocked Dynamite's teeth out with the roll of quarters. I don't blame him. I would have did the same thing. Dude was fucking with me. But when he became the Mountie, the spotlight was mainly on him. And I thought he was a pretty damn good wrestler. He was an Intercontinental champion as the Mountie. And he had some really good feuds with, let's see, I know he had a feud with Bret Hart and Piper. The Boss Man, him and Boss Man had an epic feud. It was really cool. Of course, you know, the jailhouse incident was funny. He was Intercontinental champion. And then they put him with, what's his name? Pierre, and they become the Mounties. And Raven was actually their manager at first. And they would go and defeat the Steiners. A couple other they were tag team champions like 2 or 3 times. But Jack Rougeau, man, I always thought was very, very underrated. And he's a guy that should never hear anything about anymore. You never hear anything about him. I actually looked him up, and he's actually running a wrestling school in Canada. But you never hear anything from him. He went to WCW later in his career, but never really did nothing. I remember he was in the Canadian faction with Lance Storm and them. I think that's when they turned Duggan. They did the retarded Duggan turn. I may be wrong. But, yeah, you never hear anything from the Mountie. Does he deserve to be in the WWE Hall of Fame? I'm not real sure about that, but I always look at it like this. If Koko B. Ware, Pete Rose, Drew Carey made the WWE Hall of Fame, why can't somebody like the Mountie make it? I mean, I like the WWE Hall of Fame, but some of the stuff that they do in there are so fucking stupid. I mean, you put Edge in there before Jake the Snake, Macho Man, Warrior. I could go on and on, man. This ain't about the WWE Hall of Fame. This is just about guys that we never hear anything else about. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Please comment, leave your thoughts, and subscribe. And like I always say, get your money and pay your bills. Peace.